Okay, I'm curious about history and tradition behind this ritual.
Well, it's a history I've learned since I was about 11 and a half. I was hanging out with some kids. They were white, but they had a little bit of their friends were friends of parents who were friends of kids that were from the inner city, and that's how it got transferred to me through the friend of the friend of the friend, and hanging out with the kids who were copying the style of basically kids who were from Jamaica, Queens, which is funny because I grew up in Aspen, so it's kind of hard to equate that, but when you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, you know, eventually you can get pretty far in distance. So basically that's how I got it. And I also got it when I watched a Bob Marley video when I was about, I think it was around 17 or 18. He was already dead by the time I had a chance to even see him, but somebody turned me on. Another Trustfundarian turned me on to him, so I watched this video of him and I had a religious experience.
Wow.
And that's what really started it for me. I had a religious experience and I watched Bob Marley and it told me to smoke pot. And then I would have more of a religious experience. Actually, I was smoking pot when I had the religious experience, but I need to smoke more. That's what my vision said. I need to smoke as much as I can, so I do it all the time. And if I can't, then, you know, I go to jail usually if I can't. But that's pretty much it, you know, just smoke pot. And there's this guy named Haile Selassie.
Oh, Selassie, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, basically, I heard that he says to, like, always don't drink alcohol, just smoke pot. And so that's what I do. And don't eat meat, so I just don't do that. I couldn't find any books by him. Basically, I don't think he wrote anything. I think he was like this king or something. Not too sure, but I think he was in Ethiopia or something. And he's really cool, so I just...
Yeah, in fact, he was the president for some time.
President?
Yeah.
I thought he was a king or something.
Well, yeah.
President? Was he really the president?
Yeah, I think that's what they call him now.
President of the United States?
President of Ethiopia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard he was really cool, so I got into it. And of course, you know, I like to dance.
There are not too many kings left. That's kind of a thing of the past.
No, yeah. So that's it. You know, I'm pretty rich. I'm pretty boring, actually. Because pot kind of makes me boring, I think. But you know, it's good for me because I would be very uptight if I didn't smoke. And I was getting very uptight about 10 minutes ago, and then I ran into this guy who I hadn't seen, who owed me about $3,000 because I gave him a bag and he said he would pay for it. He never paid me back, so I was in trouble with the law because he kind of turned me in. But
Yeah.
I just saw him and he turned me on. There's some really good swag, and now I feel better.
Good.
Yeah, so it's a great life. But right now I'm traveling to New York, and I'm here, and basically I'm trying to hook up a big marijuana deal. Don't tell anybody. Okay. I know you're gonna put it on YouTube, but don't tell anybody. And basically, I'm gonna try to sell it. I'm going for a kilo. And it's supposed to be really good swag.
Tell me, when you are under the influence, is there
the influence of
well,
what?
no, is there a particular hierarchy of deities that is evoked?
Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, Haile Selassie, the Trinity.
It's a trinity.
That's the Trinity right there. Yeah. And even though Peter Tosh hated white people, I think he really would have liked me. Something tells me I really would have been cool with him.
So this
because I'm down.
This is a holy trinity for
I've had mulattoes tell me I'm really down with the people, the black people. I don't know any black people personally, like full black, but I've had mulattoes tell me that I'm
interesting.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting how lives overlap and
oh yeah,
cultures overlap,
totally.
Personalities overlap.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's all one now.
We're all interconnected.
It's all one.
Yeah, we realized that we're all interconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
How
this
you
is
doing?
this has been a difficult realization for some people who would rather remain apart
Not for me.
somehow.
After I was about 27, it
Mhm.
all came together.
Is there anything at age 27 that occurred that
I
would
think someone
catapult you in
slipped like
this
some
direction?
LSD into like my beer. I had a relapse and I was drinking beer because I wasn't supposed to because Haile Selassie said it wasn't. But then somebody put a psychedelic in there, and I think that's what it was. Everything melted into one thing. And after that, I spent about 3 months in a mental hospital, but after that everything was okay. And I never want to do acid again, but I think for that particular moment, it kind of brought everything together for just that moment, and that moment was enough to get me in like a bigger world view that there are black people out here,
Mhm.
and they're really cool.
There was that moment.
Yeah, and they're not just Jamaican.
And
They're not just Jamaican black people.
was it a 3-month moment, or was it a 5-second moment, or a 1 second?
It was probably
flash?
about 30 seconds,
30 seconds.
and then the rest of it was like 3 months in a rubber room.
Uh-huh.
Rubber rooms, I don't know. I mean, the good thing about rubber rooms is you can scream as much as you want,
Mhm.
and you can bang your head into the wall as much as you want and try to hurt yourself, and you won't hurt yourself.
So there was that initial flash,
Right.
the illumination, and
Totally.
the seeing, the vision.
Totally. Like one big melting plot.
And then that starts to exist on its own.
Yeah.
And what happens? You start to take the picture apart, or the picture reveals itself to you. Or I'm talking about the bigger picture now. Because
Right.
sometimes the flash
Exactly.
is blinding, and you
Exactly.
don't really,
No,
you
exactly.
can't really figure out what the structure of it is until
Exactly.
it's gone.
Whatever you said, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I've had a few flashes in my day. I'm always hoping that I'll have more, but they certainly have been helpful. And this sounds really life-altering, what you experienced here
Exactly.
at this particular moment.
Exactly. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, no, this was definitely a window on the universe, and
I don't know what else to say about
you
it.
just,
You're
you know,
exactly.
you glimpse the interconnectedness of everything and everybody, and then it becomes a process of
It was
realization.
like one big ball of molten, like something. It was like
When you say molten,
molten. It was like everything melted for a
it was
minute.
melting, it was hot.
Just, yeah, totally like wax. And swirling colors and stuff. And just like everybody kind of like melted. It was really amazing. It was really weird.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's just one of those moments.
Mm.
And
Reminds me of something that you mentioned yesterday called primordial ooze.
yeah, it's it was pretty much primordial ooze. I think that's what it was. Hi.
Sort of like reconnecting back into your roots, going back in
Like
geological
it melted
time,
into everything.
going
And then
as,
I was
going
just
as far
melted.
back as a person can go in their memory, you know.
It's kind of a weird experience. I don't want to get too much into it. I don't
Yeah.
want to keep going through it so much because it's kind of, there's a lot of other things attached to that experience that
Yeah.
weren't even very pleasant for me, but yeah.
I think it was described by Duke Ellington as going as far back as way back goes.